The other day I got a tech call on Hall effect sensors. The tech called me up and asked, where is the sensor for the inducer motor on a rooftop unit? So I figured with coming into the winter months and working on rooftop units that have gas heat in them, be a good idea to cover this because we have a lot of new technicians and young technicians that don't know what a Hall effect sensor is. So in this video we're going to tell you about it. So the Hall effect sensor is a small magnet that is placed on the bell end of the inducer motor, and it is in a little, usually in a plastic case like you see here, that is screwed onto the back end of the motor. And it's close to the motor shaft, and when the motor shaft rotates, it sets up a magnetic field that sends a small voltage charge back to the control board to tell the control board that it is running. So this is usually communicated to the control board through the white, red, and black leads on the J1 plug. Also notice the R39 resistors on the ignition board, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. So the first thing you want to check is the board with the Hall sensor plug removed and the board powered up. You want to take a reading between the white and the black terminals where you should have 7.5 to 10 volts DC, and between the red and black you should read 21 to 24 volts DC. If the IGC board readings are not inside these ranges, the board needs to be replaced. The second check you want to do is with the Hall sensor plugged into the board and powered up. Rotate the inducer motor by hand. Between the white and the black leads on the first half of the turn, reading should be less than 1 volt DC. On the second half of the turn, you should read 6.5 to 9 volts DC. Between the red and black leads, reading should be 16.5 to 21 volts DC. Also note that if the leads of the Hall effect sensor become shorted, it will take out the R39 resistor. Check the resistor for burn marks, and if found, replace the Hall sensor. This is just a drawing of what we've already talked about between the white, red, and black leads, and the voltage ranges that you should see with the board powered up and the plug off. If you do not see these voltages, then the board is not outputting the voltage it should, and the board would need to be replaced. Also check the R239 resistor. If it's burnt, the board would need to be replaced along with the Hall effect sensor. This is the second test that you want to run with the plug plugged in and the board powered up to make sure that you have the proper input from the Hall effect sensor to the board by rotating the inducer motor on the first half of the turn and the second half of the turn and the voltages that you should see. On newer equipment, you will not see the Hall effect sensor anymore, as they have been replaced now by a pressure switch on Carrier and Bryant rooftop units. So now this winter, if you go on a rooftop unit and you don't see a pressure switch and you wonder where the sensor is to make sure that the inducer motor is running, you'll be able to look smart to your other tech friends when you say that it is the Hall effect sensor on the back end of the motor, and you know how to troubleshoot it and test it to determine whether it needs to be replaced or not.
Go to arefco.com for more videos. Like, subscribe, and check back every week for new videos.